Hello, good evening, and welcome to our last bulletin for the day. We're live from our news hub at Desawe Kanda in Accra. You can get interactive with us on our Facebook page on TV3GH and around the world. We're streaming live on the internet at 3news.com. Let's begin with the major news highlights of the day. Vice President Alhaji Dr. Mahmadu Bawumia, who was reportedly sick Friday and put under medical observation, has returned home to his Kanda residence. Dr. Bawumia, according to a statement signed by the Director of Communications at the Presidency, was attended to by doctors Friday. The Central Regional Police Command is to review its security strategies at Kaswa and its environs to ensure the crime rate is reduced. The Regional Commander, DCOP Reverend David Ninyin Ampabenin, says the crime rate wave in Kaswa must not be allowed to continue this year. On the DC for Santiachim North District and the Konongo Divisional Police Commander last week ordered personnel to shoot and kill cattle belonging to nomadic herdsmen, although the court has ordered the evacuation of the herdsmen and their cattle. There are still questions over whether the DC and the police commander were right to order the killing of the cattle and herdsmen if threatened by them. First Lady Rebecca Kufuor has called for a holistic approach in addressing maternal mortality in Ghana. Speaking at the inauguration of the newly constructed mother and baby unit of the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital in Kumasi, the First Lady noted a reduction in infant and maternal deaths should remain a priority for Ghanaians. The chairperson of the National Commission for Civic Education, Josephine Nkrumah, wants the media and the civil society organizations to partner with it to stir up civic consciousness among Ghanaians. She was speaking at a media briefing to outline the Commission's lineup of activities for the year. Those are our major news highlights. Remember, you can follow us on our Facebook page, TV3GH, and also we're streaming live on the internet at 3news.com. Up next is the big one. Welcome back. Now, the Ghana National Association of Cattle Owners has expressed disappointment over the shooting of cattle by the police military operations at Agogo and its environs. National Chairman of the association, Imam Hanafi Sunday, however, condemned the attack on the military police team in Santiachim Agogo by some Fulani herdsmen.
In a bid to end the menace once and for all, and in response to the attack on the members of the task force, the government has revised its strategy, this time with a focus on driving out the nomadic cattle herders. At a news conference in Accra, National Chairman of the Ghana National Association of Cattle Owners stressed the need to investigate the attack and culprit brought to book.
We endorse that investigations should be carried out properly to apprehend the offenders for them to face the law. However, the Ghana National Association of Cattle Farmers is not satisfied with the shoot and kill approach by the security on the cattle within and outside Agogo.
His comment follows a January 8 attack on the police military team in Ashanti Achimagogo by some nomadic herdsmen, injuring 3 military officers. The incident occurred when the military personnel stormed an area where the nomads' cattle were grazing. Reports suggest that the herdsmen ordered the cattle to attack the officers, but Imam Hanafi Sunday debunked that assertion.
Attacking sometimes fall on the circumstance. So when you are coming close to it, it thinks that you are coming to the calf, like the chicken. You know the chicken? When the chicken have small chickens and you are coming close to the chicken, even you are just moving away. What did the hen does? The hen try to approach you. You get me right? That is to defend the chicken, even though you may not be coming there.
Many lives have been lost in the Ashanti, Eastern and Western regions due to Fulani farmer clashes. The Ghana National Association of Cattle Owners wants the task force to reconsider its operational strategy.
It would have been better to rather apprehend the cattle owners, to get the cattle owners to face the law. So therefore, if you have come and then the mandate is to send the people away, the court ruled that the people who have refused to go away after the court ruling, the herdsmen, should be sent away by force. I'm not sure that the court did indicated that the cattle should be shot.
The association also wants government to support the Ghana Cattle Ranting Project Committee set up in November last year to find a lasting solution to the problem.
And still on the matter, the Fulani Association of Ghana has appealed to the United Nations to see to the protection of its members as provided for by the UN Charter. At a news conference in Accra, the association demanded compensation for those whose cattle have been shot and killed in the joint police-military operation at Agogo, Asante Achim and its environs, and also demanded an immediate halt to what it describes as unwarranted atrocities meted out to its members. Here's a report by my colleague Daniel Opoku.
The association expressed strong reservations about the military action, alleging that more than 15 of their members have been killed since December last year. It also claimed that over 7,000 of their houses have been burnt down, while 1,500 cattle have been killed. According to the association, an estimated 6 million cedis had been lost through the actions by the joint military police force.
Even animals have got their right. Animals, we have their right. We have laws that respect the animals' survival on our planet. You cannot take law in your hand and then start air strike. You can do this thing only in the case of there's open war against Ghana or open rebel against Ghana, but not people on the ground. This is not accepted.
The association requested President Akufo-Addo to step in as it gathers evidence of the brutalities to the United Nations for redress.
So now we are addressing our grievances through constitutional stipulations. If anybody else has similar things to do against our presence or against our stand, why are they hiding to take the law into their hands?
Right, security analyst Adam Bona, who earlier spoke to my colleague Alfred Okanse on News 360, expresses concerns over what he calls the worrying development at Agogo, Asante Achim and elsewhere.
There are so many options available to us as a nation, but first of all, I think what the stand we have taken as a nation, I would want to say as a nation, because this is the state security, agents, sent out there and have been instructed to shoot on sight, and therefore this is reprehensible. I don't think this can be done in any civilized, country. But unfortunately, in the 21st century, with the Fourth Republican Constitution, or the Fourth Republic, is 25 years, and one would have thought that by now we would have enacted laws that would protect everyone who is within this country. And so it is something that I would have thought that cool heads would have reigned, because at the moment we are killing these animals. Remember, animal rights activists would tell you that these animals have some rights, and therefore you can't just get up and then shoot them on sight. I would have wished that, I've said it repeatedly, that we need to have had this ranching law. Let's have crowds where these animals are going to react so that they don't have to be, moving, destroying people's farms. But the bottom, the crux of this whole issue, which I think we've forgotten to talk about, has to do with we have not investigated most of these atrocities that have been alleged, either being perpetrated by the Fulanis or the nomadic herdsmen,
right,
or by how we call it the indigents. These people, usually lands are leased to them by some of our chiefs. And when these lands are leased to them, the same lands are also given to the indigents to farm on. And that is where the conflict starts. And so I would have wished our security agencies, national security, the police, the intelligence network, I keep saying is next to zero, would have investigated some of these atrocities. So that, you see, at the end of the day, if there are criminal elements among the Fulani headsmen or the headsmen, they are brought to book and punished. But unfortunately, these things keep going on. We've sent military officers, we've sent police officers there with instructions to shoot on sight. I don't blame the police officers and the military officers. I blame, the policy makers who send them there. As for the security agents, the police and the military, they take instructions.
These cattle owners and headsmen have resorted to the United Nations, the African Union for protection, sort of. Have we gotten to this point as yet?
Oh, I think as a sovereign country, well, we have the right to self-protect. We have the right to self-defend. And so, to me, I think we haven't gotten there yet. Probably, I would see this one of the ways to draw public attention to what is happening in this country. But remember,
right, so let's quickly get onto the telephone lines and speak with Professor Osman Bari, who is, we're told, the president of the Yakubu Fulani Association. I hope I got your designation right. Prof, we apologize for holding you on a little too long, but thank you very much for joining us. So you are of the view that the United Nations should intervene, but have you exhausted existing internal platforms, like, for example, engaging the presidency or perhaps Parliament to address this issue?
Well, as of now, we haven't actually engaged any local authorities in any dialogue, because this issue has always been there for quite a long time. And then the escalation of the attacks and killing of animals and the harassment of the herdsmen there, well, it came impugned, and then it will continue for up to this date. So there was no time that you can go through bureaucracy trying to see this or trying to do that. It's not an easy thing, and the thing is not a new thing.
Right, but you refer
for
to
so many years ago, and we've been trying. We appeal to the subsequent government to have a lasting solution to this problem, but still nothing has been achieved. All of a sudden, we see that raids are now being carried out, attacks, strikes, air strikes. So what else can we do?
You make reference to time, no time to engage local authorities and all of that. I assume that you have problems with the bureaucratic systems, but going to the UN is also another layer of bureaucracy. You don't think so?
No, exactly. What we have done now is the two things, in fact, are going together. What we have now done today is the press conference, and we have addressed it to our head of state. And we give them, we pension that we're sending them a copy, and so many other quarters also we have planned to send them copies so that this thing now should be brought to an end once and for all. And then the hostilities that was going on there for 5 days now, and still is going on. If we don't cry out, there's nothing that we can do. There was no intention of whoever authorized the killing on sight of cows, and the harassment of the herdsmen, and the looting of their properties. Whoever gives that instruction now, how do you lay hand on him? We don't know him.
But
we don't know who is that person.
Prof, let me ask you again. Are you considering engaging local authorities, for example, the president or Parliament?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I'm asking whether you're considering
No,
engaging...
of course, we have the intention. All what we do now, if that is why, our request is the immediate cessation of the hostilities. Hostilities, once they are stopped, bombardment is stopped, raiding is stopped, and then the door is open. We go now to solicit for assistance locally and see how far we can go.
Right. So
but
I also know.
Continue. At least we have that intention.
I also know.
We have that intention.
Sorry for interrupting you, but I also know that your other members, you know, other herdsmen and Fulani associations are all expressing similar concerns as you're doing, and you are drawing attention to brutalities meted against yourselves, your cattle and your members. But whilst you're drawing this attention, have you been engaging the herdsmen to also rein in their behaviors and be law-abiding?
No, but of course we always advise them to be law-abiding. And we always advise them not to take any law into their hands. And we always advise them to be in a very peaceful coexistence with the indigenous this host. And we've been doing this all the time. So many programs we have to television and radio and newspaper interview and what have you. We've been doing this for so many years.
But it's obvious, Prof, that kind of advice have not worked, because the problem has persisted, and you would agree that the court order didn't come about yesterday. It was, as you yourself have said, it started long ago. So it means perhaps you're not doing well enough.
Well, not that we are not. We don't have any authority. We don't take any. We are not decision makers in this issue. We are just pleading with the decision makers to consider the plan and to consider the grievances that people they are suffering, and to consider the situation that these people have been going through. All the two sides. We are not saying that only the Fulanis and only the farmers. No, we've been saying that always. Please try to organize a dialogue between the two parties so that they can reach amicable solutions. We've been saying this all along. So many times we've been saying this now. We put a memorandum. We even went to the minister, one time, a minister of Interior. We met them. We talked to them. We presented to them the details of all the atrocities being committed here and there against the Fulani. We have been doing this thing all along. We've done this not now. Even years, about 5 years ago, we presented a report, and that report comprehensively showing all the sport, and even when the Fulani were being accused of being the armed robbers, rapists, and everything, we compiled a report and pictorial evidence. We send it to the outgoing president of this country, His Excellency President Mahama. We have done that, and the Inspector General of Police. We send a copy, and we send them to all the parliament members, the head of the minority group, and the leader of the majority. We send them, and even Professor Mills of late memory of the group. We have sent our memorandum to his council,
right.
And we said that this is the question.
It's
so
obvious,
what
Prof.
can we do?
It's obvious, Prof, that you're the view that local avenues have failed you. But we wish you the best in your deliberations, though, and we hope that you get the outcome you desire. Thank you very much for joining us. Professor Osman Bari is the Sudu Baba of the Yakubu Fulani Association. I'm Stephen Anti. This is News at 10. We're live from the News Hub at Desawe, Kanda in Accra. We have more news for you. Please stay. Welcome back. Now, the minority in Parliament is asking the Health Ministry to stop its attempts to take over the management of the newly built 650-bed University of Ghana Medical Center and allow the facility to operate independently. A statement signed by the minority leader Haruna Idrisu explained measures had been put in place to ensure successful operation and management of the hospital without any political interference. It indicated that arrangements by the university to operationalize the hospital are far advanced, with a determination of staffing norms and a request to the Ministry of Finance for financial clearance to recruit staff. It noted permission to recruit a total of 800 staff to commence operations had been communicated, and what is urgently required from government now is the approval of the loan for phase 2 to ensure that a startup capital is available to operationalize the hospital. There has been a standoff between the ministry and authorities of the university concerning control of the new hospital, a situation that has stalled its use for more than a year. And my colleague Alfred Kanse earlier on News 360 spoke with a member of parliament for South Dai, Roxon Nelson Davia on this issue. Let's hear what he had to say.
What we are saying essentially is that this is a purposely built facility for research. It is also to facilitate the students of the university. If you consider the situation now, you realize that the medical school is practically stationed at Kolebu, not because Kolebu founded the University of Ghana Medical School, but because of the proximity of the facility of Kolebu to research of the students. And so we are saying that new facility is supposed to cut down that proximity to facilitate the training where the students can conveniently move from the University of Ghana campus just across the highway, enter this facility and conduct it. The center is also supposed to serve as a multinational research center in West Africa. And so our fear is that when the government takes over this facility, some of these foremost factors that we considered in building the facility will be just. We think that the university is semi-autonomous, it is capable, it has the requisite personnel, and has the capacity to be able to run this facility effectively and functionally. And so you don't need the government to intervene or to, as it were, take over the facility in a rumble style.
No, so, Mr. Davia, let me come in here. What exactly is the problem? I mean, this is a facility, over $217 million spent on the first phase of it. And then there's a disagreement about who manages it when access to quality health care is a problem in this country. Why are we at this point?
Exactly our position, exactly the position of the minority. Why would government be fighting a fully fledged university over who manages a facility that was purposely built for the university? Why should it be so? They have taken over reach over a year now. Go and find out whether the new resource is functioning. Well,
I sought some explanation about that cabinet directive for the Ministry of Health to take over the management of that center. And according to Robert Kojo, who speaks for the Ministry of Health, he says that that directive by cabinet was because the Ministry of Health is mandated to ensure the health of the populace, and all health-related facilities, both public and private, come under the supervision of the Ministry of Health.
Is 37 military hospital not a public hospital? Is the police hospital not a public hospital? Is the Smith hospital not a public hospital? So why haven't they taken over this hospital? So we are saying that there are certain health facilities that are purposely built for operationalization of the core functions of certain institutions, including the military, including the Ghana Police Service, including Smith, and of course the University of Ghana.
And former Vice Chancellor of the University of Professional Studies, Joshua Alabi, says Martin Amidu is the perfect person for the position of Special Prosecutor. He said the former Attorney General's firmness is enough for that office and debunked claims that he'll witch hunt members of the opposition NDC.
For now, he's the best for us. Very principled guy. He knows his job. And I think that a lot of thinking went into it before he was appointed. I will personally wish him well, and I pray that the good Lord will protect him and guide him to deliver. Amadou is somebody who I know nobody can push around, okay? So it's not coming just for the way people are thinking that it's come to chase people who are one or two programs with him. No, I don't see Martin that way.
The NDC stalwart does not believe Martin Amadou will witch hunt anyone.
I don't see Martin Amadou coming to witch hunt. I see him as a thinker person, very fine brain, who believes in what he does, and has just simply come to do what is required of him.
Martin Amadou was named as a special prosecutor by the president, with his nomination pending approval or otherwise by Parliament. On the seat for cash, which is being probed by Parliament, the former Vice-Chancellor asked Ghanaians to be patient as Parliament does its work.
Very often, we tend to use the media to criminalize people when they've done nothing wrong. And sometimes we tend to protect people who have even done something wrong. But this is an opinion, a forum, a platform for the air to be cleared. And I think that Parliament has the capacity to come out with what I think will be in the interest of the good people of this country.
And that's how we wrap up with News at 10. Thank you very much for making time. On behalf of the crew here, good night and have a nice weekend.